Like, it was one porn movie that I could actually watch with my parents on my birthday, and we could laugh about it.
Well, audience, welcome back to Core Memory, a podcast about movies. I'm your host, Cortney Warner, and joining me this week, oh my goodness, what a very special guest. We have the incredible musician, visual artist, sometimes comedian, all around the coolest person ever. It's Nicole fucking Atkins, everyone. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my
What's up,
goodness.
Courtney?
What's up, Nicole? Thank you for being here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm actually really good. I just cleaned out my closet and my art studio for the first time in 10 years.
Oh my God.
I now I know where everything is. So, it's a good feeling.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. I need to clean my own house at some point. It's been just like a literal laundry list of things I got to get done. But it's got,
Yeah.
just for busy ladies, it's hard to keep up with.
It's hard. Yeah, I was like, I could open a store with all this shit. Like,
Honestly, I mean, I remember audience, we were at a pumpkin painting party a couple weeks ago, and you had this cool green glitter paint for the pumpkins, and I'm like, you just have the coolest shit.
man, that paint was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it was to the listeners at home, it was like this beautiful, like, pearlescent, like, almost like a pea green,
Mhm.
but it was pearly, and it was in a glass jar. And I was like, "I don't even care if this paint is nice. It's so pretty, I have to buy it."
Dude, and it was perfect for the pumpkins.
It was.
Yeah, it just looks so good, and so I would come shop at Nicole Atkins' art house.
The Atkins store.
Yes, but
Seriously.
you'd probably get people who are, like, on the diet probably coming through and be like, "Can I buy the bars here?" You know what I mean?
And you know what? They can, but they'll just have different names on them because and is Atkins still, like, a company?
I think so. I feel like if you go to, like, a Walmart or whatever, you'll see, like, the drinks, like, the shake
Yeah.
stuff like that, so, yeah, I think
Man,
so.
I remember when that was all happening, like, and I first started playing open mics in New York, in the East Village, and people were like, "I'm so sorry to hear about your dad." And all these people thought that Dr. Atkins was my dad, and I was like, "Man, I think I'd be living a little bit more posh than this."
For
Come on. Yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't be living in a shoebox with 10 roommates if you were
seriously.
the heiress to the Atkins diet.
Yeah, with, like, a very cheap guitar.
Hi. Nicole, I'm so happy you're here this week. Audience, Nicole brought us two fantastic movies, two that I have never seen before. The first that she ever saw was Tommy from 1975, and her favorite is Back to the Beach from 1987. So let's start off with Tommy. I'll give some quick stats here. So Tommy came out in, like I said, 1975, directed by Ken Russell, starring Pete Townshend, Roger Daltrey, Elton John, and Margaret, Tina
Mhm.
Turner. What a hell of a lineup. Uh,
What a cast.
right? And also, like, as I learned it was based off of the rock opera that The Who wrote, which is very cool.
Yes.
So Nicole, tell me about the first time you saw this movie.
So, it's funny because I can't remember, like, if I eat breakfast today, but I can remember being 3 years old
Yeah.
and watching Tommy. It was on HBO. I mean, I was born in '78, so,
Mm.
gosh, maybe this was, like, 1982. Maybe I was 4,
Mhm.
and, my parents, they would sleep in on the weekends because 'cause they're a little hungover, and, I would get up early, and Tommy was always on HBO. And I was just so fascinated by it. Like, there was just so much to look at and the songs were cool. And by the third time I saw it, like I like had, a lot of the song lyrics memorized and I would answer the front door when the mailman came and tell him I was the acid queen. Like it was just kind of like it put me in my life that I have now very quickly. Like, when I was seeing that, I remember thinking, like, "Wow, Roger Daltrey's so beautiful."
Mhm.
But I was 3 or 4, and I was just like, I just wanted to be him when I grew up.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Wow, this kid, he can't speak, he can't hear, this poor kid," and then he becomes this phenomenon, and everybody follows him. and I was just like, "Oh my god, I wanna do that." And now watching it as an adult, like, it's so heavy, like, I can't believe that my parents, like well, they were sleeping, so they didn't really know that I was watching it, but it is not a movie for a child,
Yeah.
you know? But, I mean, I turned out okay, I think.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, for the most I am now. I've had my moments, but, like, it was just so it was a thrilling thing to see to not understand the subject matter
Mhm.
because, there's Elton John, and he's, like, the pinball wizard, and there's, all of these things happening and these elaborate sets and, Anne Margaret getting covered with baked beans,
Mhm.
and I
Oh,
just love
yeah.
too how The Who, like, as a band, had always, like, self-referenced and, like, built their own story and their own lore
Mhm.
that they were able to take all of that and put it into Tommy.
Yeah, no, I agree, like I said, it's my first time watching it this weekend, and I was like,
What did you
"What a"
think?
I loved it. Like, what a
Yeah.
movie. First off, I was like, "This is shocking, but not surprising." This was Nicole's first movie, just given everything I know about you.
It makes so much sense.
It does, giving know you and your family and everything. I'm like, "This tracks," but also like, wow, what a first movie to remember, and it reminded me a lot of, like, German New Wave films. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Yes.
Yeah, like, post World War II and, like, everything with just, like, the aesthetic and, like, just, like, the incorporation of the music with, like, the visual art and everything. I thought
Yeah.
it was really, really compelling.
Yeah, there's so much to it. Like, it's a movie that as soon as, like if I listen to the soundtrack, as soon as the overture comes on,
Mhm.
I almost start crying. 'Cause,
Oh.
like, I guess it's that, like, mix of nostalgia, but also just, like, the, like, sheer epicness of it, and then watching it, like, I would love to see it in the movies.
Oh my god, yeah, we
Like, I
gotta
would love to see that on a big screen.
dude, we gotta get the belt cord on that, you know what I mean?
I'm sure they've done it. I just
Yeah.
need to look out for it better.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get Belcourt to be a sponsor, an unofficial sponsor, so I just need them to have that in the theater, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Put it out there.
yeah, just put it out in the universe and hopefully, that's something about that, like, Dolly Parton famously was like someone asked her one time, "Hey, what do you've accomplished so much, what else do you want?" She's like, "Well, I would love to have a theme park." And someone who worked in the theme park industry listened, and now she has Dollywood, so I'm just
You never know.
just put it out there, you never know. I do that a lot whenever I'm looking for weed. I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to have some with weed."
That's so I just got some because I left to go pick some up, and my
Yeah.
husband's like he's like, "Don't you have a podcast at 7?" I'm like, "I get back at 6:56." And he's like, "You're nuts." But I have weed now, so that's good.
You have weed, you're on time, it doesn't it all works out.
Yeah.
Um, so
All worked out.
so how do you think this movie impacted you as a child? Like, did it inspire your imagination or, like, what you were interested in
Yes.
as a kid? Like, tell me about more about that.
There was just so much to look at it, like, in the movie, and when, the songs were beautiful and they made you feel, like, whether they were, like, antagonistic or, like, orchestral or rockin', and I actually, like, I got in trouble when I was little because one time when I was watching Tommy, I took my crayons and I thought if I drew myself in the TV that I could be in it.
Oh,
And it was just like a world I wanted to live in, and then I
yeah.
remember getting my markers taken away. So I would draw on the rug too, I'd be watching Tommy drawing on the rug.
Yeah.
Like but, it was weird, like, I just ever since then, like, seeing that movie and, just easily I remember when I was young, I had a really hard time learning how to read,
Mhm,
but I could memorize all the music in Tommy.
mhm.
Like, so it just kind of gave me, like it showed a light on a path to, ending up being a musician really early in my life,
Yeah.
like, it became like a home base for me. Like, even when, I was graduating high school and everybody was, like, drinking and partying, and I was
Mhm,
drinking and partying like crazy, but, I remember, like, we went and saw Tommy on Broadway. It was like a
mhm.
school class trip, and all of my friends were like, "Oh, we could get served underage at O'Charlie's," and I didn't go with them. I just, like, stuck to the group, which is something I never did,
Yeah,
and was watching the musical, and I was so, like, overwhelmed that, like, I was just bawling, crying, and singing at the top of my lungs,
yeah.
and I got in trouble for being drunk, but
Oh,
I didn't even have a sip. It
yeah.
is just like this makes me feel normal.
Yeah,
Like, this music and the story is crazy, but, like, just the way it was all put together is just, like, it's a joyride
yeah. No,
through dark stuff. Like, the
that's
subject matter is really dark.
dude, yeah, that's what I thought too when I watched it. I'm like, "This is so delightful visually and sonically,"
Yeah.
but then when you really think about it, it's just like, "What the fuck am I watching?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you're watching, like, a movie about, like, a kid that's been abused and molested and exploited, and at the end of it, though, he just tears it all down.
Yeah. I
That's what I think was so beautiful, like, when his mom, was, like, loving the life, and then he's just it was almost kinda, like, biblical in a way, like,
Yeah,
Tommy became Jesus, but, like, he took instead of the hero worship part, like, he got over it and, became, like, I don't know, what Jesus did in Babylon when he was like, "Don't do this.
right.
Don't worship me. Don't worship false gods." Like,
Exactly.
and that was my only 2 things that I did when I was young was, like, went to church on Sunday
Mhm.
and watched fucked up movies before my parents woke up, you know?
Yeah.
So, those 2 things, like, went hand in hand. They
A
informed each other a lot.
and how do you think this movie inspired you, as a musician and as a visual artist too? Because you do both, and these are both very heavily, are imply both of these mediums.
Well, I mean, it was the look and the colors and the set design of Tommy, and then right after that, like, I remember seeing a thing on Woodstock and Monterey Pop,
Mm.
and the music of that era, inspired me wanting to be an illustrator.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to, do concert posters like Stanley Mouse or Peter Max,
Mhm.
those, like, San Francisco people that did all that artwork, and, that's what I ended up going to school for, but
Mhm.
musically, it's like I've always just like, my home base has just been so deep rooted in '60s rock, because there was a lawlessness to it, like,
Mhm.
their drummer, like, Keith Moon,
Mhm.
his drumming, just to watch him was so thrilling because he looked like a giant child,
Yeah.
and he had all these faces and, like, I don't know, it was just like they were like the Muppets to me,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
so I kind of like I never think about making music or having music that's, um, not to say safe, but, like, I just always I like that Yngwie Malmsteen quote where he goes, like, "Less isn't more is more,"
Mhm.
"More is more" has always been, like, my motto,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it comes from that, like, from the music of the '60s, it's like, you're on stage, go big,
Yeah.
have a look, have tunes that are huge, have some moves,
Yeah.
and, don't just sit there.
Dude, I love that, and as a comedian, I think about that a lot too, and you've done comedy a little bit now
Yeah.
too, where it's like,
Only with you.
I know, only with me, only the things that I run, which I love,
You're my safe space.
oh, dude, well, you're one of mine too, like, genuinely, I love that.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I think about that with, like, art in general, where I think there's such a push for minimalism and for, like, understated and don't be too excited, be cool, you know what I mean? Whereas I think, like, you're an entertainment, you're an artist, like, be big and brash, you know?
Yeah, yeah, don't be yeah, just make it big.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, what separates people from the audience versus the artist, you know what I mean? What, a stage? Like, gotta give people a show, I feel like, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, when I do shows, that's how I feel, like, it's not about me at all.
Mhm.
I already did my work, I already
Yeah.
wrote the stuff, I know what
Good.
I'm doing, and that's just there, but, like, when I see those people in the audience, it's like, "Oh, they paid to be here." You have to be like, my job is to give them one of the best nights of their life,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I've done that, but I certainly try to every night.
Dude, yeah, no, dude, I that really resonates with me too, where it's like I try to at least show up and like look nice and, like, just give it because people are, they're spending money to be there for either whether it's for you or for whoever you're opening for, and then they're spending
Yeah.
money on food and drinks, probably a babysitter, maybe an Uber or whatever, and it's like, that's a lot of money, you know?
Yeah, you wanna give them the razzle dazzle,
Yeah, because it's
especially now, because tickets are very expensive now,
dude,
you
tickets
know?
are tickets are crazy. I yeah, as someone who also loves to go to concerts,
Yeah.
it's hard out here unless you know somebody, it's really tough, you know?
Oh, no. I know. I even look at, like, my own ticket prices sometimes, and I'm like, "Would I pay this to come see me?"
Yeah.
I mean, like, am I gonna see any of this?
Right. No, I feel you on that. Yeah, it's tough where it's like, is this worth the money for people? And, it's hard to not undersell yourself sometimes, but I'm like, I don't know if 20 bucks is I don't know if people should pay 20 bucks for this sometimes for a local comedy show, but
I don't know. I think that, I think that comedy and music and theater and movies, like, imagine a world without them,
yeah.
Like, I feel like that's just as essential to spend money on as healthcare,
Dude, yeah, I think about
you
that
know?
too. Yeah, 'cause especially with how fucking crazy things are right now too, where it's like, what else do you have other than, like, to have joy and art as a resistance, you know?
Yes, it's a big time resistance, like, and I think that sometimes too, like, when I'm making my album or I'm starting a thing of paintings or even, like, working on some material for, this comedy thing
Mhm.
that I dabble in, with every fucked up thing that's going on in the world right now, it's like, where's the future? But I can't really think about that because I'm not a fucking psychic,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And doing all this art is the thing that keeps me alive, and
Yeah.
I know that, even a small part of it can touch somebody, and that was the thing, like, with Tommy, like, I never felt it was the first time I ever felt, consciousness that I was an actual being,
Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
my first love,
Mhm.
and it was such a weird, funky world to watch, and I would just do all the little, you know scenes and songs for my family when they came over, and they just thought it was the weirdest thing because it's, like, such an adult movie.
Yeah.
They thought it was hilarious,
Yeah.
but it was the '80s,
Right.
Parents were different back then.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
was lawless.
So were you a fan of The Who, or was The Who, like, a integral part of, like, your music, consumption, or was it just,
I
like, Tommy that was, like, the entryway for that?
Yeah, Tommy was my entryway,
Mhm.
and I didn't even realize that The Who was a band because
Yeah.
a child.
Right.
I just thought it was, like, this big fun musical that was, like, with I didn't know that I'm looking at something psychedelic
Yeah.
because I'm a child, so I'm like, "Oh, this is how probably things are in England." You
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah. But, but yeah, and then when I got older, like, when I remember being in 6th grade and, I went to the tape shop, like
Mhm.
Sam Goody or something with my uncle,
Yeah.
and I was gonna get the New Kids on the Block tape.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to fit in.
Oh,
My
yeah.
uncle, he was like, "Do you like this music?" And I was like, "I don't, but I really am just trying to fit in."
Yeah.
The 6th grade, it's such a I think, 4th grade is where you make that shift where it's like,
Mhm.
before things were fun, and now people are being mean to you,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And so it's like, anything you can do to fit in, please. But he was like, "Alright, well," he's like, "You could buy that one, but I'm gonna buy you 2 other tapes that I think
Mhm.
you'll like." And he
Oh,
bought me Cream Wheels of Fire and Traffic John Barleycorn Must Die, and I was just so blown away by those 2 albums because they reminded me of Tommy.
yeah.
And that's when things started to click together,
Mhm.
and I remember reading this book about music because I started playing guitar around 12,
Mhm.
and, where it was saying that when you listen to music, the instrument that you hear the most in your mind when you're listening is what you'd probably be the best at playing,
Oh.
and it was funny because when I would listen to The Who, their bass playing, that John Entwistle's bass playing in The Who, it's just like, what the I can't describe it in words,
Yeah.
but it was all I could hear, but I mean, I still went to the guitar just 'cause, you know, that's the only instrument I had,
Yeah.
but but that was a thing that I always tried to incorporate into my music. It's, like, really interesting, almost kind of busy bass lines.
Yeah.
To you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can definitely see that in your music too, where you have some really fun bass lines in there where, like, it wouldn't be.
Yes.
Yeah, it is it's like, given your like, your style of music too, where I'm like, "Oh, this is, like, kind of out of place for the style, but it's really cool and it fits and it's different," you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how it's always been, and I think that's why my career has been long, but not, immediately successful,
Mhm.
or it's been, like, a long career, but
Yeah.
I just really love, like, just following what I'm into
Yeah.
and putting it all in there, where it doesn't just stick to one thing,
Yeah.
because, I mean, I'm ADD and, like, for real, and
Yeah.
things that make sense to me make sense to a very small but mighty handful of people.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, my husband saying, he's like, "Well, if you just keep on this style, like, that song was really successful." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm over it now."
Oh, yeah.
But there's still those things that are the core things that are, like, 60s rock
Mm,
via, like, The Who
yeah.
and, you know, dramatic Italian crooner music and light disco. Those things have always been in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
you know?
What a hell of a combo too, honestly. But, I feel you on that too, because I think it's like, yeah, when you do something, it's like, "Oh, that worked," but also it's like, "Well, I wanna do something different," and that keeps
You don't wanna be bored. Yeah, like,
exactly.
I just don't wanna be bored.
Yeah, and that's something that comes up on this podcast too a lot with most artistic mediums where it's like, you have filmmakers who are like, "Oh, I'm this auteur and I'm making this thing," but once they figure out their formula, it seems like they're almost a bit bored or they're phoning it in their later stages of their career,
Eh
you know?
yeah, some do. Definitely, because I think when you have a big hit,
Mhm.
everybody in the business around you wants you to recreate that hit,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? But when you have, like, a bunch of minor hits,
Mhm.
you can kinda do what you like.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to touch on too what you were saying about the instrument that sticks out to you the most is the one you're
Yeah.
probably the best at. That is so fascinating because I played guitar, started playing around 13, 14, played for about
Yeah.
5 years, but I've always been drawn to drums, but my mom was like,
Mhm.
they're too noisy. You could have an acoustic guitar. Well, maybe do an electric, but you have to wear headphones as it was too loud. And I still to this day, I think I was pretty decent at guitar. I studied it in college. But I've always wanted to play drums, so that's so
I can
fascinating.
absolutely see you as a drummer.
Really? Oh my god, that's
Yes,
so
I really
flattering.
do. No, you should. I mean, you're out of the house now.
I know.
Welcome.
My parents I pay my own rent, you know?
Yeah, you put your own rent. You can do what you like.
I've been thinking about getting back into it because I still have all of my guitars, and I've sold a lot of my pedals and stuff, but I still can, like, pluck around on the guitar, but, like, man, I still dream about playing the drums, because that's what I
You would
hear.
be so cute behind a drum kit.
Oh my god, thank you.
You
Well,
would.
that's very thank you for saying that. Well, just that quote was that what you said is just very, like, illuminating for me. I'm like, "I really
I know.
I gotta get
It's
back."
neat, isn't it?
It
Yes,
is.
'cause I remember, like, reading that and, like, listening to, like, the Led Zeppelin box set and
Ooh.
just going on a journey and being like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm a bass player. No,
Mhm.
wait, I'm a singer.
Yeah.
No, wait, maybe, like." So it was always very disjointed for me to hear that concept
Yeah.
because, like, I like it all.
Dude, I get it too, because I think about, like, bass too, which is all but I know bass and drums are very, like, they're kinda together in that way, and I
Mhm.
like but yeah, I'm sure listening to Led Zeppelin and, like, having just, like, mo the best musicians possible on the planet doing everything to the best of their abilities, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I love all of it." Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I always love from listening to Zeppelin stuff, like, what I loved the most was, like, John Paul Jones's, like, weird organ synth stuff and
Yes.
the Mellotron on, like, the Rain song. That was,
Mhm.
like, the first time, like, probably since Tommy that I was, like, bawling my eyes out over a
Yeah.
song. It's just one tiny little "da da da da," like, 4 notes that
Yeah.
happened once in the song, and that's
Mhm.
all it took.
It's, oh, so compelling, and, like, yeah, fucking Jimmy Page too, like, as a person who studied guitar, I'm like, God, what a brilliant man. He made so much in a short, little confined space, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So brilliant, and
Mhm.
I think it's a good thing for artists to think about how to create the most out of, like, limiting yourself to 4 chords or to 1 lick,
Yeah.
or and phrasing it
Totally.
differently, you know?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can really, like you can really come up with a lot of, um, more powerful work, I think, with limitations, for
I
sure.
I agree, and, also I know that we're both David Lynch fans.
Yes.
He talks about, like, being able to work in a limited space in his master class on the master class
Mhm.
website. I've been rewatching it, and he's like, just, like, being if you're limited on funds or on time or resources, like, how much you can do with that, and he was, like, talking about, wanting to shoot something for Twin Peaks, and it was like he wanted to shoot it at night, but it was way too cold, they were out of money, they couldn't shoot anymore for the day, so they moved it inside, moved some trees inside, and they ended up, like, being able just to get the shot better, but he was like, "Well, I'd rather shoot outside, but we ran out of money and out of budget to shoot
Yeah.
on location, so we'll shoot in this, like, warehouse that we had," and it ended up working out, and it was in the show, so it's just stuff like that that's really fascinating.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is, like, with accidents or, like,
Mhm.
things you don't plan for, like, I'm sure that him moving the trees inside to shoot inside made it
Yeah.
look so weird and cool
Right.
where it's like and it made it look David Lynch,
Yeah.
and it's like those happy accidents that come from limitations, like, really could end up giving you, a style.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think about that a lot with, like, again, like, talking a lot about, like, I have a lot of different people who bring up, like, auteurs, like, you have a lot of, like, people who brought up, like, Coppola or, like, Wes Anderson on
Mm.
this podcast, and they're like, "Man, the early
Yeah.
movies," I think the early stuff where they had limitations from the studio or from budget is their best stuff, and when someone's given too much freedom or too much leeway without having anyone saying no or having limitations,
Mhm.
it can get a little bloated, you know what I mean? And not
Totally.
yes. Um
Yeah, or there's a really good TV show when you mentioned Coppola, there's a
Mhm.
great TV show, you could stream it, it's called The Offer. Did
Mm.
you ever see that? It's about the
No.
making of The Godfather.
Okay.
It's
Right.
a scripted drama about the making of The Godfather, and here, Francis Ford Coppola, like, that was one of his first movies,
Mhm.
and him, how the way it's shot, it's so dark,
Yeah.
and seeing, like, in this show, like, him and the DP the director of photography just arguing, "No, it's gonna go blurry. That's what it needs to look like. I'm gonna
Yeah.
fucking kill you, ah!" And he pushed for it, and that's, what made it look so compelling,
Yeah.
was the
Oh,
darkness.
that's amazing. I just wrote that down. I'm gonna definitely watch that because
Oh, I'm gonna watch it again.
it sounds
Yeah,
inspiring,
it's such
honestly.
a it really is, even seeing how the guy that, produced it,
Mhm.
he was working selling vacuum cleaners or something,
Oh my
door to
god.
door, and he went out with his friend that was in the movie business, and he was like, "Wait, all you have to do is have an idea and pitch it?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I got a billion ideas," and
Yeah.
then he ended up pitching Hogan's Heroes,
Oh my
and
god.
then yeah, so it's like you just, like, need an idea and some follow through.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that'll make you do the thing you wanna do, but it'll at least not hurt you getting there.
Right, and I think that's really what it is, especially in, like, in our industries too, as comedy and music and entertainment, where
Mhm.
it's like, as long as you just, like, stick it out, you're gonna land somewhere, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is
Yeah,
crazy to
you'll end
think
up
about.
somewhere. You'll end up doing the thing you love,
Yeah.
you know? You just have to not think about, like, the end game.
Yeah.
'Cause the end game, like, I mean, that's not even the fun part. The fun
No.
part's the making of the stuff.
Yeah, and that's something I've been trying to learn too. Like, I had another guest on this podcast, Kristen Toomey, who's a pretty prolific stand-up, a good friend of mine, and
Mhm.
she's been doing it for a while, and she was like, "Courtney, I'm gonna do this the rest of my life. So what's
Mhm.
the rush?" And I'm like, "That is so beautiful." You know what I
I
mean?
love that. So I guess she doesn't think she's gonna die young.
Yeah, no, no, yeah, she
Her mind is like, "I'm gonna do this the rest of my life, but I could die tonight."
right, but it's
That's been hard to balance.
I feel that too, where I'm like, "Well, I could just, like, go for a walk and get my mail, and that would be that." You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
Or like I didn't floss enough in my 20s, so the plaque affected my heart, and I have a heart attack at, like, 32, you know?
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not that bad.
Yeah,
I'm not that bad.
I don't think I'm that bad yet, but, but there's always that fear, but I think there's something to, like, yeah, just enjoy it because life is meant to be lived, and not there's not this goal make putting certain goals and timelines and only focusing on that can make it miserable, you know?
You can waste a lot of time and a lot of your energy like, thinking about the outcomes of things.
Oh, yeah.
And that is something I didn't even delve into until, like, I don't know, like 8 years ago when I quit drinking. It was
Mhm.
just like I had to, like, reassess, like, everything and, learn how to hang out again and, like,
Yeah.
how to write again and, can I do this, like, without drinking? And then it was like the the idea of success, like, just being able to make things,
Mhm.
that's the success.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keeping your mind and your heart in that zone,
Mhm.
and it's a constant reminder, because bills suck and, like, you want a bigger stage, you want,
Mhm.
more stuff but, like, not forgetting that main part, that the actual making of it
Mhm.
is the best part.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true, and I think we're similar in this way too, where it's like you're compelled to always create. Like, you have to create or you die kinda feeling, you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, like, when I met you and, I met Courtney
Mhm.
when, I went to the Dive Motel for a comedy show,
Mhm.
and I only went there because I was like that year, I was just so depressed,
Mhm.
and I was like, "I need to do something. Oh, there's free comedy. That might be good." And
Yeah.
then when, somebody was like, "Oh, where do you do comedy?" And I'm like, "I don't,"
Oh,
and then I was just like, "Fuck it, I'll go to the open mic, why not?"
yeah.
And, like, I wasn't gonna do anything, I was just gonna watch,
Mhm.
and then, like, I got a wild hair and signed up, and then the guy before me ended up getting kicked out because he was so offensive
Oh my god,
that
this always happens to you, I feel like.
dude, it was awesome because I said to our friend Olivia, like, right before it was, like, my turn to go, my heart was beating so fast and I couldn't control it
Mhm.
that I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be outside by the car."
Yeah.
And then the guy was tanking,
Mhm.
and everybody was pissed. Everybody was like, "Fuck you, man." This guy, like, I don't know, he made some weird abortion jokes and
Oh, yeah. Oh,
but,
yeah.
everybody's getting mad, and I'm just, like, slowly becoming able to breathe, and I'm like, "This is great. Keep going, you asshole." Like, the deeper he went, the more I could breathe,
Yeah.
and then I got up, and I wasn't worried, and I just, said my couple jokes and my story, but
Mhm.
and nobody died, but I felt like afterwards, my husband was like, "Well, how did it go?" And I was like, "It felt like the first day of school, but how you
Oh,
wanted it to go." Where it
yeah.
was like, you show up and they're like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be your friend, and, like, that never happens, so it's
Yeah.
like, sometimes you gotta do things that you're uncomfortable with just because you never know what might happen, eh,
Right. And I remember
you
you
know?
you had a great story about cake farts.
Yeah, the cake farts was my that's gonna be my piece de resistance and the next time I do it.
God, so fun. Oh my god, I was dying. And then we have a whole little group chat on Instagram dedicated to cake
Yes,
farts now.
and I love it too because I remember when my band back in 2010, they were like, "You don't know what cake farts is?" And, like, they made me feel like a leper because I
Right.
haven't seen this, like, it's very comedic porn, very
Right.
niche porn,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
and then when I met you guys and none of you guys saw it, and I was just like, "Oh, this is like a gift," like because it's so ridiculous,
Oh,
and
it really is. But if you can make money, hey, any way you can make money, God bless you, you know?
I know, the girl in the video, I just wanna be like, I don't know, I wanna join her OnlyFans and send her gifts
Right.
because like, she's given such a gift. Like, it was one porn movie that I could actually watch with my parents on my birthday, and we could laugh about it, like,
Yeah,
you're not supposed to do that, but also, like, you're not supposed to watch Tommy when you're 4.
exactly. So, speaking of Tommy, kinda
Keep
coming
it a
back.
theme.
I know you're thank you for that. And I think you kinda already answered this, but just for more clarity's sake, so do you still love this movie, and how does it still impact you to this day?
I still love that movie, yes, with all my heart.
Mhm.
Like, it's in my probably top 10 things that have ever existed
Yeah.
in the world that I love, and, it still inspires me today just 'cause I mean, I probably watch it once a year,
Mhm.
and I listen to it when I'm on tour twice a year, and, like, it's the kinda album where it's like, "Okay, we're putting Tommy on, nobody's talking, we're gonna drive for the next hour and actively listen to it,"
Yeah.
and it gives me such it just centers me,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like when, you feel out of sorts and like, "Oh, what the fuck am I doing with my life?" And then you put on something that you really connect with when you were young, that just gets you back into the zone.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, dude. Well, hell yeah.
Thanks.
Well, guys, that's Tommy from 1975. Are you ready to move on to your favorite one of your favorite movies today?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay. So go sorry, go ahead.
So this is a weird one, but you asked me what like, I could say something, like, modern and serious, but I feel
Right.
like this has been so time tested for
Mhm.
me, and I actually, like, forced my band to watch it on our last tour, and, I'm gonna post that video soon. I'm, like, in my
Please.
jammies with a newspaper and scratch-off tickets and a bowl of Lipton double noodle soup watching Back to the Beach at 47 and feeling the exact same way I did when it came out.
Yes,
You know, just
dude.
comfy. So
Yeah.
I what do you know what year that came out?
Yeah, so I can run down some quick stats
Yeah,
on
let's
here.
finish that.
Yeah, so Back to the Beach came out in 1987, and it was directed by Lyndall Hobbs, starring Annette Funicello, Frankie
Funicello.
Funicello, so sorry.
That's okay.
Frankie Avalon, also Lori Loughlin, and a cameo from Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman himself.
Yep,
What
star-studded.
yeah, what a crazy movie. Yeah, so in 1987 is when it came out.
It is a ridiculous movie, but it's
Yeah.
so camp and it's so fun that, like, I actually feel like a lot of, like, my music and the music I present, like,
Mhm.
comes from the randomness of this movie,
Yeah.
you know, 'cause, like, Fishbone's in it,
Mhm.
and those songs and, like, it opens up with, like, Annette Funicello. She was in a Mickey Mouse Club back
Right.
when my mom was young. So my mom, when I was growing up, was like, "Oh, check out Mickey Mouse Club. That's what I watched when I was young."
Mhm.
And in the '80s, there was, like, a big, how, like, styles kind of, they go in a loop.
Mhm.
So in the '80s were kind of obsessed with the '50s,
Right, right, right.
and the '50s and '60s.
Mhm.
So Frankie Avalon was like, a teen heartthrob. Annette Funicello, she was a what was it, Disney show?
Yeah.
The Mickey Mouse Club.
Mickey Mouse Club.
She's in the Mickey Mouse Club, and they're married in real life.
Mm.
And this is the time I think that Full House came out.
Oh, yeah, that was around the same time. Yeah, Lori Loughlin. Yeah.
Yes, so it was, like, prime time, like, CW Friday nights, like, that's what we did, it was pizza night, we're watching Full House, and it's a good Friday night,
Yeah.
and, so, she was Uncle Jesse's girlfriend, so we're like, "Oh my god," like, there's, like, the recognition there, and it's just so, like, I don't know, it's very neon, it's very, like, I love, like, surf culture from back
Yeah.
then. I was, like,
Oh, yeah.
cartoon eyes, like, "Get off my wave, bro."
Yeah.
Then there's, like, the surf punks that have, like, bones through their noses,
Yeah.
and the kid is, like, 10, but he's like, "Mom," like, just being
Yeah.
like, like, "I am the darkness," and she's like, "Oh, honey," it's just
Yeah.
so kitschy and
Yeah.
cute, and, I just wanted to live in it. I guess, that's kind of the same way I felt about Tommy,
Yeah.
like, I wanted to live in these worlds that I was seeing on my TV,
Mhm.
and it was one of those movies that, like, me and my sister and our 2, like, cousins, and we, just memorized the entire movie, so when
Yeah.
we'd be out at parties or, like, if my parents wanted to hang out at the bar too long, like, we would just put on a show for them of, like,
Yeah.
songs from Back to the Beach. And
Yeah.
I remember, like, one line in the movie where, okay, that Funicello and, they're all going to visit Lori Loughlin
Mhm.
and see her new life in California, and she lives with her surfer boyfriend in a bait shop.
Right.
So they live in an apartment over a bait shop, and she's like, "Oh, I live in an apartment over a bait shop," and I just remember thinking, like, "That is my dream house."
Yeah.
It's like a one-bedroom loft with a surfboard and, like, some, like, cool old 50-year-old lady with a beehive outside that's taking care of all
Yeah.
the little kids in their 20s,
Right.
and, like, singing and dancing and surfing and fighting and, dressing punk and wearing wigs and neon. Like, you just I don't know. It was like, it looked like heaven to me.
Yeah, I loved it personally. I thought it was such
You
a
did?
fun movie. I did. I thought it was I love that it was just everything was just built on a joke and a reference to
Yeah.
something else, and I was like, "This is just a pure
Dumb
comedy for"
jokes.
yeah, dumb jokes, comedy for comedy's sake. There is a plot, but it's, like, based on it's just, like, playing off of other tropes in these types of movies.
Yeah.
Something that I thought was really interesting was, like, they kinda did a bait and switch where it's like, you think it's gonna be about the little boy because the way that the movie opens,
Yes.
you know? I'm like, "Oh, this feels very like Ferris Bueller's Day Off," very you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like,
And the
then
little boy, he's
yeah,
just the thread. He's
yeah,
the thread.
that's
He's the
all.
narrator. But, like, I like the little boy so much more now than I did back then because he's
Yeah,
around my age, and I was
yeah.
like, "Who's this little kid thinking he's so cool? He's not cool." You know, like, "Bah," and now I see it and I'm like, "Oh my god, he was so cool."
Yeah, he was so
You
cool.
know, he was so cool, and I always send pictures with him because he looks like my musician friend Benny Troken,
Oh,
and, I'm like, "I can't believe you were in this movie," and he's like,
yeah.
"Thank you." You know?
Yeah. Something I like too is that when they were making fun of him, like, he's like, "My name is Knife." Oh, it's like, "Oh, nice? Oh, nice. Nice to meet" like, and they just, like,
Yes.
constantly and with the tattoo, his mom was just like, "Oh, that's so cute, honey. It's like one of those little Smurfs," and just constantly, like
Yeah.
I just love it because that's so
He's like,
typical,
"It's
like a
tough.
yeah, I'm
I'm
pumped.
pumped."
So, it's so typical of, like, how I think how parents and families kinda diffuse, like, that kinda
Oh
stuff.
my
It's
god.
so typical, and I love it.
Yes, yes, it was also kinda comforting too, because like, in
Mhm.
Jersey, like, our parents, they're funny people, they're, lovely people, but they bust your balls like crazy even when you're a
Yeah.
kid.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then you saw, like, how much that kid was getting his balls busted throughout the entire movie, and he
Yeah.
actually was cool, and you're like, "Actually, maybe my life isn't so bad."
Yeah, actually, I'm doing okay, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is fine.
What cracked me up too is just how much, like, animosity between the little boy and the dad. It's just like, you 2 are acting like 2 children, basically. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, they fought like brothers.
And they did, and I was like, "This is fascinating," but it's like, "Make him stop, he's egging me on." It's like, "You're the dad, like, what are you
You're the
doing?"
dad. I know. My dad
Yeah,
would just be like, "Nope."
yeah,
Like,
like,
"Sorry."
just tell him to fuck off, basically, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so Nicole, do you remember can you tell me about the first time you saw this movie?
Yeah, it was probably right after we watched, Full House,
Mhm,
and we probably I think we rented it, and me and my sister and our cousins Rory and Bonnie, like, we were all together, and we just moved to a new town.
mhm,
So my dad worked in life insurance. So in the '80s, he made a lot of money in life insurance,
mhm,
and, we moved to, like, a fancy town. It wasn't too fancy, but it was, like, fancier than where we were
mhm,
from, and, my neighbors were, in high school, and I would just hang out with them, like,
mhm.
so they were my babysitters, but they were also, like, cool, and they would let me come over and watch MTV with them, and this was during the time it was, like, the height of Pee-wee's Playhouse,
Yes.
and so it was like, "Oh my god, like, Uncle Jesse's girlfriend is in the movie, and Pee-wee's in the movie, like,
Yeah.
this is the event of the fricking year." And so, like, we got pizza, we rented the movie, and it was like we were just so enthralled by it, and it was so fun and, like, singing along to, like, the ska, 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 dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Then we're like, "What is ska? Let's listen to it. Let's go find it." It was one of those movies that had so many little vignettes and pieces in it that you were just like, "Okay, I'm gonna make that part of my personality now."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that too. Cause like, if I would have seen this when I was younger, this would have been my whole personality,
Yeah.
100%. It's just so it's so fun and funny, but it's so, like, effortlessly cool too, or it coulda got
Yeah,
it coulda veered into really stupid, you know what I mean?
and I feel like everybody in the movie too are in on the joke,
Yes, and I
which
think
ma
that
and that's what makes it cool.
I think that's what it is, where it's like everyone kinda like they're in it and they're committed, but all their eyebrows are slightly cocked, you know what I mean? Like, they know what's going on.
Totally.
Yeah.
They know that these jokes are cheesy as hell, but they're cool enough to, like, give the nod or I don't know, they're cool enough to not sweat it.
Right, and they're just like, "Well, this is fun." They're giving it their all. Like, it's like they're aware of it, but they're not undercutting what they're doing, which I think is a hard balance to strike. Where it's like you're aware what's going on, but you're not like, "Oh, this is dumb." It's like they genuinely are having a lot of
Yeah.
fun, and it's very obvious.
Totally, and it kind of my other favorite, like, comedy movie that I was gonna maybe pick instead of this was, Just Friends with Ryan
Real
Reynolds and Amy
oh my
Smart.
oh, I love that movie.
I'm so glad. It's
Yeah,
I know every line from that movie, and that's what I feel like about that movie too. It's like the
yeah,
jokes are so stupid
yeah,
that they're hilarious, cause and everybody's kinda, like, in on the joke,
mhm,
like, the director and whoever wrote it was like, "This, you know, this needs to seem pastiche." Like,
yeah.
we're trying to do that.
Right, dude, Just Friends, I haven't heard anyone mention that in a long time, but
No one
I love that
ever
movie.
likes that movie.
I
I'm
know,
so glad you like that movie. I own it. You'll have to come over for Christmas, and we'll watch it together.
let's get the girls together, let's get our girlfriends together, let's have
Yeah.
a let's do it. I would love that because I think about that movie often. Well, first off,
Yeah.
I think about the song, I Swear, all the time, and, like,
And I
I
swear yeah.
swear by the moon and the star and the skies. That's probably all we can sing before we get copyrighted, but
Yeah, I know, or her other song, the "Forgiveness is more than
more than
saying
saying sorry.
It's so bad, and it's so awesome, you know?
It's so good, and, like, I'm just thinking about, like, I get that people probably have issues with, like, Ryan Reynolds in a fat suit, all of that. It's similar to, like, how people feel about Shallow Hal, I'm sure, too, but my god, like, it is very, very funny, you know?
I mean, that is a real thing, though,
Yeah,
like, chubby people, like, always get in the friend zone.
yeah, and
That's
then
what happened in this movie, if you haven't seen it. It's, these 2 best friends, girl, guy, platonic friends, and the
mhm.
guy was really chubby growing up, and then, he was in love with her, and then he moved away and lost all this weight and got a job, and it's all this time that passes, and he sees her again, and his hilarious attempts at, like, trying to be cool to get
Oh my
her
god.
back when she really just liked him for how he was,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't like, when people get down about that, I think it's real, you know?
Yeah, I think it's very real. Growing up as, like, a previously ugly kid, I know
Yeah,
doing somewhat okay for myself in the grand scheme of things as a
yeah,
comedian. I'm just like, yeah, I found it very relatable when I saw it in college, when I finally, like, got rid of my David
yeah,
Bowie mullet and, like, became a cool person, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I maybe
I
didn't
remember
relate yeah, I didn't relate to it maybe in the exact same way, but I'm like, yeah, I was pretty fucking lame as a kid, you know?
oh my god, yeah, I remember, like, having a crush on, like, one of my friends that, like, and I had a spiral perm, and I was
Yeah.
chubby, and I lost weight by doing Sweatin' with the Oldies from
Oh,
Rachel
yeah.
Simmons,
Yeah.
and it worked, and I actually thought about trying it again, and I turned it on, and I was like, "This is way too easy," but back then, I was like, "Man, this is gonna do it," and it did,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, all of those, just those lines, like, I feel like the more people that see it will see how fucking funny it is, and
Yeah.
then they'll be able to clock it when you say, like, "Oh, that dude skis in his jeans,"
Yeah.
and have somebody else know what you're talking about.
Yeah, oh my god, or just, like, I think I always get the image of Anna Faris with all the toothpaste, like, with her the little fountain
Yes,
on her head. Gosh,
yes,
she's just like
blueberry.
right, she's like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah," like, just it's
Yeah.
so fucking
Oh,
funny.
goodness. Yeah, I thought that was, like, Anna Faris's best role.
Oh, I agree. I
I
think that
do.
is my I think it's my favorite of her. I mean, I know people will say probably The House Bunny, or they'll say
No way.
they'll say Keanu, the Key and Peele movie that she was into, but, like, I think her and Just Friends, she is brilliant.
It was fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was fire.
She was in something else I saw recently too, and oh, no, she's in Lost in Translation, the Sofia Coppola movie,
Yeah.
which I forgot about. That was one of the movies I covered on here too, and I'm like, "Anna Faris?" Like,
Yeah, she was not funny in that movie,
no,
like, she was, I think, supposed to be, but also, like, knowing that kind of person,
I
like,
know.
I was like, like, as soon as I saw that, like, he's
Oh.
like, "Yeah, you know to hate that girl in that movie."
Oh, saying words like, "You see what's going on here," and it's like, as someone who's, like,
Yes.
been on the other side of that or been the Scarlett Johansson in that situation, I'm just like,
Totally.
"Fuck you, man." Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's funny though, it's like, thinking like, "Oh, I don't wanna be the Scarlett Johansson in that scenario," but
no.
then you see how that movie turned out and how cool Bill Murray is that you're like, "She wins.
Yeah, she gets
Totally wins."
yeah, she gets to go yeah, they both win, she gets to have a great time in Japan, she's fucking beautiful, and, oh,
Yeah.
it's the coolest, like, yeah,
And he gets to feel alive again.
Yeah, and that's what I love that movie too, so
Me
I
too.
but yeah, Anna Faris mentioned twice now on this podcast. I think she deserves more. She's great.
Anna Faris does deserve a lot more. Like,
Yeah,
seriously, like,
I
sh
agree.
she is one of the comedic greats
She is.
of our generation, and yeah.
And she's not appreciated enough. Like, I feel like if she were, like, maybe on SNL or something, then maybe she would get her
Yes.
flowers more, but, she just since she did all the just the classic comedy movies, I don't think people like, she should be like Seth Rogen level.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
would
I mean?
yeah, she should. I would love to see her, though, in sketches,
Yes. Oh, me
you
too.
know? Man, that'd be cool. Anna Faris, if you're listening to this,
Yeah. Hey,
do some
sister.
sketches, get a YouTube
Yeah.
channel,
Oh
do
my
it for the
god.
people.
Please. Or I'd love to see her because she can do the cringe really well, do see her like a Tim Robinson sketch, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Yes.
That'd
Yeah,
be
I think that's why I like her so much is because
yeah.
she is not afraid of being cringy.
No, and she doesn't take her foot off the gas at
Commit.
all. She commits, yeah.
No.
She's like, we're doing this, and I don't give a fuck how I look, you know, and I love
Yeah.
that. True comedic genius. But, as we're winding down here, I have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
So I'm curious, do you see any correlations between Tommy and Back to the Beach?
Oh gosh. Well, they both have songs in them,
Right.
and they both have people singing songs. They both have lots of bright colors.
Mhm.
I guess, yeah, like between there's music in both of them. They are completely fucking different, like ends of the universe,
Right.
but they both have music in them and they both have really high design elements.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense. Like I'm an illustrator and a musician.
Yeah,
So that does make sense.
it absolutely tracks. I also saw too that there's a sense of liberation between both of the young boy characters, you know, very differently, but like they both
Yes.
I noticed that immediately. Where I get that could be a hero's journey, but they're both like it's both like they feel oppressed in their own ways. Obviously Tanya's
Yes.
very oppressed, but like and they kind of by the end of it they kind of break out and they're doing their own thing, which I also thought was a very cool through line.
Totally. Yeah.
But yeah.
It turns out okay for them.
Yeah, and at the end, it's like
But madness needs to ensue.
exactly, madness and a lot of musical numbers and a lot of color
Yeah.
need to happen before they're okay.
And a lot of like crazy strangers.
Yeah,
There's so many side characters in both of those movies,
it's so
and
true.
so many cameos.
Mhm, the
So
camp
maybe that's a thing too. Like I love cameos.
I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, you got Paul Rubens and Tina Turner, like, you know, in respective movies, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you get some crazy ass cameos. Elton John, like,
Yeah, you got Elton John and Fishbone.
yeah,
Because
like,
totally.
yeah, right, like,
You
why
need
would
it.
you do, and it's like, that is yeah, both of your movies are very cohesive, and I feel like they're also
Thanks.
it gives me a good insight even more into who you are as a person and as an artist, you know what I mean? So,
Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel that way too. I never thought that those two movies connected until right now.
oh,
So that's good.
yeah,
And I'm not as random as I've thought for my whole life, but,
no,
just seeing, yeah, that those 2 movies, how they, can inform your life.
yeah, and I think also it speaks to and this is, you know, this is just my observation too, it speaks to that you knew who you were, you had a good sense of self early on, you know?
Yes, for sure. I actually think that's what I meant to say,
Yeah,
was, like, when certain people are, like, I especially when I first moved to Nashville, it's like I'm
mm,
a fully grown adult with many lives in my past and many groups of friends in other
mhm,
places, and then it's like, I move here and people are like, "Let's go to tea and get to know you," and I just wanna be like, "Just watch Tommy and Back to the Beach, and that's all you need to know, and then
yes,
we'll hang out."
right.
You know?
Oh my god, I saw a meme, on Instagram where it was like, "Oh, so tell me about yourself," and, like, it'd be a text bubble of like, "Oh, tell me about yourself," and so then in the reply, it's like a PDF file of, like, "About me."
That's funny. Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, this is what you need to know. You don't need to know my favorite color right now. Does it matter?" You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
you.
just watch these 2 movies, that's all you need to know about me.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. That's something I love about, like, movies as, like, a medium too because they we all come from different backgrounds, but, like, we can affix ourselves to different movies or see ourselves in them that, like,
Mhm.
now I'm sure lots of people have seen Tommy and Back to the Beach that come from different backgrounds as you, but are like, "No, this describes me as a
Totally.
person," and that's really
Yeah.
cool. That's super cool, you know?
Yeah, like, so many people that I've met, like, bonding over movies.
Mhm.
It's a way to, like, get deep fast and know if
Agree.
it's like, is this your person or not? Because I
Yeah.
remember there was another movie that I loved from that era, like, when I was really young and watching Tommy. There's a movie, it was a cartoon with Debbie Harry
Mhm.
and Lou Reed and Iggy Pop,
Ooh.
and it was called Rock and Rule,
Okay.
and I remember loving it, and it was always on TV after, like, nursery school, and, the guy that worked at the sandwich shop in my hometown in New Jersey, we only have, like, one little like, deli,
Mhm.
and I remember I don't know how we got on the subject of, like he's like, "Oh, I've got all these movies from the '80s on DVD, like, really hard to find, like, Rock and Roll," and I was like, "Wait, what is that?" And I remember it was like a memory in my head. I
Yeah.
knew all the lyrics to the songs that are in that movie,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what it was called, and he was like, "Oh my god," and I was like, "Man, Shay, I always thought you were a metalhead." And he was like, "What the fuck, dude?" He, like, rolls up his sleeve and shows me his Bauhaus tattoo, and he's like, "I'm a fucking goth." You
Yeah.
know? So he had all these, like, cool, like, David Bowie and Lou Reed stuff, like,
Yeah.
in the archives, and, yeah, you just really bond. Like, even my husband, he was my tour manager that, didn't really speak much, and
Mhm.
then I saw, like, he had a movie magazine, this movie
Yeah.
magazine, Little White Lies. It's out
Yeah.
in the UK, and it's so beautifully designed, and, like, then I was like, "What is this?" And he was like, "I'm really into movies." And I
Yeah.
was just like, "I am too," but I didn't know they made magazines that were pretty and about movies.
Yeah. Oh my god, Nicole, that's beautiful. I feel you on that too, because it's like, I get that people can think that maybe like, oh, if you don't have the same favorite movie as like your significant other or as a good friend, then that's shallow. But I think that's a good litmus test of like, what do you value in art and as a person? Like, what do you find interesting? And
Yeah.
I and I've shared this on here before where like I went out with a guy briefly who didn't understand, not even understand, didn't like David Lynch or Wes Anderson. And I was just like, I tried to get him to like watch Twin Peaks and all that, and he just kept falling asleep. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it ended up not working out for like other reasons. But I'm like, oh, you just didn't give enough of a shit about what I liked. One, and also like you already
Yeah.
didn't find this interesting to begin with, at least on a base level, you know?
Yeah, like, you didn't really try.
Yeah,
But
and I'll
but but you nailed it with the first thing, is, like, you didn't give a shit about what I'm interested in, so it's kinda like, "Bye." You
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
they say
yeah.
people that are out there that do, or even more exciting if they are not into it, but, like, you get to turn them on to it.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
that's the spice of life.
I agree, like, especially, like and I'm sure you probably get this with music too, but I get to do that with the different comedians that I love with friends. I'm like, "Oh, have you seen
Yeah.
this person?" And they're like they'll come back and they'll start quoting their bits to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, they're
Yeah.
amazing," and it's so cool.
I just sent my parents the comedian Dave Hill.
Oh, yeah.
He's got he's got the funniest stand-up about Guitar Center, and it's just, like, a quick clip that's, like, pinned to his profile on Instagram,
Mhm.
but I sent it to my parents, and, like, they vaguely know Guitar Center,
Right.
'cause of me, but
Mhm.
they were dying, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh my god, is that your friend?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "That's so
Aw.
cool," you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, turning people on to stuff is the best.
It is, and that's I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a slice of life. It's what makes, or the spice of life. It keeps things
It's
it
the
it
spice melange.
yes. I have a couple more rapid fire questions for you, and I say rapid fire, but, like, answer them as fast or as slow as you want. So, the first one is, and this applies to both movies, if you had to recast both movies with all Muppets, but keep one
Ooh.
human in both movies, which human would stay, and who are some of the Muppets you cast in both of these movies?
Oh, wow.
You
Oh,
mentioned the
wow.
Muppet you mentioned the
That was a
Muppets
great
earlier too.
question.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad you're editing this because
Oh,
let
yeah.
me think.
No, 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 yeah, take your time.
I mean, Doctor Teeth would obviously be the best Elton John in
Yes.
the movie,
Yes.
and, the mom could be played by Janice, the
Mhm.
bass player for Electric Mayhem, and, you know, hmm, I think I would just keep Roger Daltrey as the only
Yeah.
human because he's just so beautiful.
Yeah, that was my pick too.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Feels
don't
like
get rid of the angel on the screen.
no.
And for Back to the Beach, like, shit. The only one that I would keep as a human would be the little boy.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah. And then, hmm, who could play I mean, gosh, maybe Lori Loughlin would be played by Moki from the Fraggles,
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
you know?
Mm,
And her boyfriend, the surfer guy, could be played by Travelin' Matt.
yes. Oh, that's good. And you know
Yeah,
you know your Jim Henson, which I appreciate.
I do. I can't think of it on the fly. I'm, like, almost like the, I would love to figure out where to stick Emmett Otter's people.
Yeah.
Emmett Otter's jug band in the movie. Oh my god. Yeah, the surfers that are all punks with, like, the bones in their nose,
Yes.
like, that would be the band that was in Emmett Otter. There's, like,
Mhm.
"Look at the birds up in the trees,"
Yeah.
like, there's a snake.
Yes.
Snake is the singer and the bear is, like, the guitar player. That
Yes.
would be the perfect surf punks.
Oh, yeah. I feel you.
River Bottom Nightmare Band. That was what they were
Yes.
called.
I think that movie needs to be remade right now with
I
this
love
cast.
it.
Holy
Yeah,
cow.
yeah,
I
let's
love
do
it.
it.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I don't know who owns the rights to these movies, but I think both should be remade with the Muppets personally. And
We used to do that in my house where we would just get our friends together and remake the movie just to do it.
yeah.
Like, and not film it. Like, we would do like, "Okay, you coming over Friday? We're doing Jesus Christ Superstar. We're doing Rocky Horror," you
Yes.
know? And we just, like, would sing and dance and talk as much as we could remember.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I did that as a kid too. For me, it was the Lindsay Lohan The Parent Trap was a big one. Name from
Yes.
this. The Goonies was another one we would act out to just for fun. Just it's like, oh, let's put on a
Yeah.
put on a production and see what we can do with it, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel that. That's probably why
Fun
we
for
get along
fun's
so
sake.
well. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
planning, you know? And then my final question for you is what is your go-to movie snack and drink? Either at the theater, at home, what do you gotta have?
At the theater, I get a small popcorn and plain M&Ms.
Ooh.
And then sometimes I'll split a, half Dr. Pepper, half root beer with my
Oh.
hubs, and I mean, I was pretty gross with movies, Courtney. Like, sometimes I bring, like, a rotisserie chicken in with me.
Ah,
It just depended, like, on what time of day and if I ate dinner or not, but sometimes I'd sneak my dinner in with me.
I love that.
And, yeah, it's dark. It's
Yeah.
dark and, chicken doesn't smell that bad,
No. It
but
blends right in with, like, the chicken wings that they sell or, like, whatever at the theaters now, you know?
yeah. And then at home, pizza with a movie,
Mhm.
go to. But sometimes if I'm feeling fancy and I wanna wine and dine myself, I'll make a tray of Ritz crackers with cream cheese and a green olive on them, and
Ooh.
it's a tasty snack.
That sounds amazing. It's very a little charcuterie action going on. Oh,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
an '80s working mom charcuterie.
Oh my yes, it's like she just finished watching, like, the workout the exercise videos, you know, she's
Yeah.
Spandex. She's about to have her bonbons, but she wants her healthy cracker snack before she gets
Yeah, the
the
neighbors the
bonbons.
neighbors the neighbors coming over with a bottle of white Zinfandel, and they're gonna have some Ritz and cream cheese.
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna, have some Percocets on the side, what have a great day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. And then, well, Nicole, I appreciate you being on.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks for having me, this was
this
fun.
this has been amazing. What have you got going on, and where can people find you? Like, what's happening in your world?
Well, I don't have much on the outside world going on. I've got a couple shows, coming up. I'm opening solo for this band, The Lone Bellow.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, I think it's November 12th through the 16th in
Mhm.
Jersey. Or no, Jersey, what am I talking about? It's in DC, Philly, and Brooklyn.
Hell yeah.
So, and those are up on the interwebs, and then I'm just gonna spend the next 3 months making my new record.
Oh my
Go to Nashville. Yeah, I just
very
got signed
exciting.
by Sun Records,
Well, oh my god, that's
and
so exciting.
thank you. Yeah, me and Elvis Presley, why not?
Shit.
And, it just feels good to know that the last few years of being in the wilderness, trying to figure out what I'm doing is finally like, okay, now I get to lay it down.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Dude,
that's all I'm focused on.
Sun Records, I mean, I've seen people with tattoos of that logo on them. That's
Dude,
incredible.
I
You
was
know?
when I was clearing out my office, I have
Yeah,
all of this, like, Sun merch
yeah.
from, just my life and, like, always visiting Sun Records or Sun Studios when I was in Memphis, and
Yeah.
yeah, my grandma had a picture of Jesus and Elvis Presley hung up in the kitchen.
The
She'd
only
be
2.
so stoked. Yeah.
Oh, the only 2 men that matter, honestly.
I know. Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. Oh my god. Well, audience, keep an eye out. Follow Nicole Atkins at Nicole Atkins on Instagram and everywhere you can find her, and keep an eye out for that record. And yeah, Nicole, again, thank you so much for being on today. This was so
Yeah.
fun.
So
Um,
fun.
and then, audience, thanks again for listening. This has been another episode of Core Memory. We'll see you next week. This has been Core Memory, a podcast about movies, and I'm your host, Cortney Warner. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Please feel free to like and subscribe on anywhere that you get your podcasts. Would absolutely love the support on there. If you enjoyed today's episode and any of our other episodes, also we are on Instagram at Core Memory Pod. Please feel free to give us a follow on there as well if you want any behind the scenes tidbits or any kind of fun visuals on there. And again, thank you for listening, and we hope that you'll listen again soon.